Patricia Wilkins, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Tyler Elementary School. And our classroom, I consider it an average classroom, an average teacher, an average aide, but I wouldn't want to call them average children because DCPS doesn't have any of those. We have over average in everything, in understanding, in achievement, in activity, in everything. They're very much over the average. And I considered what we were doing to be pretty good. And when I look at the classroom the way it was, this was where we met for morning meeting, for stories. Those are all my 17, 18 X's. And they went between 17 and 20 throughout the year. And we considered ourselves to be doing a pretty good job. Now, when I look back, this looks like the worst thing that I could have done. But that's only because I have been enlightened as well as inspired. Now, one of the things that we noticed in our school was that when the children took their standardized tests, they had a tendency to write in phrases. Now, I was a test proctor, and I was on the testing team for 5th and 6th grade, and I also would look at essays throughout the year when they had essay contests. And I noticed that they had a lot of phrase problems. They didn't have any full sentences, full thoughts. So what we did to try to help them out in the younger grades was to work in full sentences all the time. So whenever we asked them a question and they started with their thought, we would tell them, I think that because, right, and prompt them. So we thought that we were doing a really good job because now, at the end of the year, or at the end of other years, we had them saying whatever we wanted them to say. If I asked them what color is they would say the color is, and we thought we had done a really good, good, huh? Okay, well, we hadn't been doing as good a job as we thought because they were reiterating to us, great for tests, but they were just spitting back every piece of information that we gave them. So now, that was the way we were. So this is a kind of a story, and this is the way we were in the beginning. And then in came the Center for Inspired Teaching. And we went to an inquiry group. It was our, help me, Reb. Lesson study. It's not like I did that for the first time, it's not. During our lesson study, we had an inquiry group, and we brainstormed what we would like our ideal classroom to look like, feel like, sound like. What do we want to happen inside that room? And we had a whole board full of things that we wanted to see happening in our room. And from that brainstorming event, we reflected and we aspired, and our inquiry group came up with the research theme. We wanted to have our children think more boldly and act more creatively. So I decided that my part of that project would be helping them by changing what I was doing. And I was noticing that all throughout my day, instead of teaching, I was asking people to please stop hitting her, please put that book down, no, don't sit over there. And that was my whole day. Stop, no, no, stop, stop, no, 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 stop. And while we were reflecting during the lesson study, I remembered something that I saw in a store that made me chuckle, but also made me think when I saw it. It was a onesie, a baby's onesie, and it said, "My name is not No No." And real cute, but just like it's giving me a chill now, it gave me a chill when I saw it. Because I don't want my child to think that the beginning of her name is No. No, Nicolette, don't do that. Or any other child, any other parent's child to think that. Before I say your name, I always say no. Or before I say your name, I say stop. Or connected to it in some way. It makes for a very negative atmosphere. So I wanted to stop. My project was to stop saying the word stop And I know there was a whole lot more that I could stop saying, but I wanted to start with that one word. Well, two words actually. The word no and the word stop. So that was my idea, and I ran that past Reb because I said this is kind of out there somewhere. But Reb said, no, it's okay. You can do that. Yes, she didn't say no. She said yes. She said it's okay, and you can work on that. It's a real project, because I told her it didn't really sound like anything. It was just something that was in my head floating around, and she made it real. So we decided to stop saying the word stop and stop saying the word no. And when I ran that past my educational aide, I shared with her what happened in our lesson studies, and she said, wow, when we went to lesson studies, because we do have different lesson studies, they decided that they were going to empower the children by using different language and changing their tone, and more immediately lowering the volume. So I said, well, we could do both of those things in our classroom at the same time, and we could make that one big project. So we ran that past Reb, and she said, yeah, we can do that. Of course, like an Inspired Teacher is ever going to say, no, you can't, right? She said, yes, we can do both of those together, and we can have observations as well, and have the children evaluated, so to speak, at the end to see what was going to happen differently. We already knew what was happening here in the perfect little classic classroom that was doing, you know, the same old, same old. So after sharing that with my aide and deciding that yes, we can, we started to work on how we were going to do it. Now, it's really easy to say you're going to stop saying something until you try to stop saying something. Now, what we did was we stopped ourselves whenever we felt it coming, getting ready to say it, or we would just redirect ourselves, or we would change the wording in the sentence. But sometimes it would slip out and we wouldn't know, or sometimes it would slip out and then we go, oh, I meant to say. So what we did was, one of us was always in front of the other. This was our classroom, remember? And one of us was always back there where the book bins are, someplace like that. And whoever was up in front of the children would have to look every once in a while to see that hand go up, to notice that you just said something negative. So sometimes she was doing morning meeting and I would have to. Sometimes I was doing morning meeting and, you know, she was busy doing something and she'd just run out. You just did it again. So that's how we decided to help each other without the children noticing too much. Okay, because after all, they are looking at the teacher show, right? Their backs are to whoever's back there. So the other thing that we decided to do was to have assessments after the children had left, 5-6 minutes. And we just ran through what had gone on that day, anything different that we may have noticed. Maybe the same thing was happening. We had to reorganize our thoughts. And together with that, we had the observations from Pax, who came in every day at the same time so that she would see the same portion of the day and be able to evaluate us and observe us more consistently. After 2 weeks, we noticed that there was quite a difference. And the difference was in the children and the way they were responding, but it was because of the difference that we made in ourselves.